The Earth was created when a bunch of dust and space gases condensed in space to create a planet. Now the planet was nothing special until maybe 2 billion years later, when the right temperature, atmosphere, the greenhouse effect, and the CO2 began shaping the Earth into a habitable planet. Life started appearing and the Earth was fully habitable.
What makes Earth so special?
Jimmy, for starters, Earth can actually support life and living organisms.
Well, I know that, but what makes it good for life?
That's a good question, Jimmy. Where do you want to start? The temperature, greenhouse effect, atmosphere, or CO2 cycle?
Let's start with temperature. Why is it important for life?
Well, if it was too hot, we would all burn, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And if it was too cold, we would all freeze to death.
Sounds cool.
Yup, in fact, if we moved a little out of the sun's habitable zone, we would instantly die from freezing.
Jeez.
And if we moved closer to the sun, it would become sweltering hot.
So the temperature does matter to life.
And that's why we haven't found a planet suitable for life in our solar system yet.
Okay, so basically the temperature of Earth keeps us alive, and other planets in the solar system are not habitable because they are too hot or too cold to sustain life?
Correct.
I have one more question. Why are the planets so hot and cold?
Talk about that next when we see the atmosphere.
So what is the atmosphere?
It's a layer of gases that surrounds Earth or another planet.
Okay, so how does Earth sustain life?
That's the reason that heat stays on Earth and the reason that we have oxygen that stays on Earth.
What?
Well, the heat that is created by the sun shines down on Earth and the atmosphere reflects that heat, so we always stay warm.
So other planets have little atmospheres?
Yes, if we had no atmosphere, then the temperature would go from about 500 degrees Fahrenheit in the sun to negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade.
Oh, so if we had no atmosphere, the temperature would be too extreme and we would die?
Yep, and if we had no atmosphere, oxygen would be released by plants and just float away.
We will suffocate before being incinerated?
Depends on how long you can hold your breath, but if you stood in an isolated room with some plants, they would provide you with unlimited oxygen if you keep breathing.
I should try that!
No, you shouldn't.
What is a greenhouse effect?
Greenhouse effect is the trapping of the sun's warmth in a planet's lower atmosphere due to the greater transparency of the atmosphere to visible radiation from the sun than to infrared radiation emitted from the planet's surface.
What?
It goes along with the atmosphere. Other planets have different greenhouse gases, so that's why we can't live on them.
Oh, we're pretty special then.
Yep, and the reason greenhouse gases are still going is because human life is constantly circulating CO2.
Cool. What does CO2 stand for?
Well, Jimmy, it stands for carbon dioxide.
What is carbon dioxide?
It's what we talked about before, remember?
Oh yeah, that's the stuff plants inhale.
Yep, and the carbon cycle keeps CO2 and oxygen constantly circulating so that we can have oxygen.
What is the CO2 cycle?
Well, the CO2 is constantly being released by humans and volcanoes, then being absorbed by new rocks that are constantly being overturned by the Earth. This has kept the Earth suitable for life for billions of years.
Cool. Is that another reason why we can't live on other planets?
Yes, all of the reasons why Earth is special are connected. That is part of what forms the Goldilocks principle.
So that's why Earth is so special?
Yep.